And here's the video that I made for you guys. So I made this saddling video, and this is just me saddling Summer at Liberty. Now she just walked into the frame with her saddle pad on because I put it on and she walked away. So I went and got her, and you just couldn't see me go and get her, so there was no point in leaving it in the video. But she's back, and so you'll note that I've got this big Western saddle, and I'm going to carry it on my hip like a baby there and go on around to her right side and give that saddle one, two, three big swings like a big giant friendly game. And then it lands on her softly like a hug. Notice it didn't land on her like a thud. It was just soft that it landed on her. So now I'm over there and I'm fixing all my saddle strings and I'm taking my cinches down and I push my saddle pad up right into the gullet there. Over here, I'm fixing my saddle strings, fixing all my latigos, pushing the saddle up into the gullet on this side, and acknowledging her. Did you see how nice she looked at me there? She's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, put on your saddle. Let me acknowledge you there. And she puts her head right down. So that tells me she's not worrying. Now, did you see me? I was standing there. I'm standing here shoulder to shoulder with her. And I'm reaching under. My left foot is next to her left foot. I reach under to get the girth, and I'm putting the girth on very slow and very soft. I'm not putting it on rough or hard. I'm not going fast. She's not leaving. I do notice her tail is swaying a little bit there. So I want you to know that I know that, but I do also know that there are flies. So I do think that was about flies. I'm just going to keep noticing because that's for sure a sign. If your horse's tail swishes when you're doing up their cinches, that's definitely a sign. I think her ears are back, but I think her ears are back listening to me. See how her ears following me? See how they're following me all around? Now you notice, now I'm going over there to get a cookie, but you notice how her cinches, like her back cinch, comes a little bit forward. I like to put my back cinch on snug. I don't like to have my back cinch loose. I don't want any daylight between the cinch and her body. I don't need it as tight as the front cinch, but I just need no daylight between it and her body. So that was the first tightening of the cinch. And you'll notice I'm just playing with her a little bit at Liberty here. These are patterns you guys will recognize. And I'm just, because my video camera is just set up on my tripod, I don't have a videographer there. So I'm just trying to stay in the space of the behind the trailer there. So if in a perfect scenario, I would move her around in a much larger space. And then here I'm tightening my cinch for the second time. And watch how gentle it is. I'm not pulling it hard. She's not blowing up. Again, I noticed that kick and I noticed that tail swish. And so I checked for flies. Did you notice I just checked for flies? A little confusing I was there. I invited her to the left and then to the right, but no worries. She's an accommodating horse who's willing to figure out what I want. And again, just slow and right, just asking her to move in some patterns around me, some circles and some figure eights. And then I'll be going in for the third time before I mount my horse to tighten up her cinch. Again, I keep noticing what her tail is doing, what her ears are doing, what she's thinking. Now, did you see how nice of an offer that was? She stopped right where the cinches are, and she allowed me to go ahead and tighten up her cinches. That was really a nice offer. So I know that she's doing the right thing. She's not worrying. She's not in any kind of a mood that's anything other than completely in communication and accommodating. Do you see how willing she is to just move over there for me? And how willing I am to acknowledge her for that grace and that gratitude. Now I'm going to go ahead and mount my horse from the right side. I hike my leg up there. I'm going to hold the mane with my right hand, and I'm holding the saddle with my left hand. Notice my left hand never, ever left the saddle. I want you to see that again, because I see this all the time. People hold the back of their saddle when they go to mount, and then they have to let go so their leg can come over, and there's this moment of suspension. And what that does is has us get off balance for a moment. And I don't want that to happen. I want you to be able to hop up on your horse I don't really like to mount from the ground, but if I have to, I want to land softly in balance on my horse. I don't want to land unbalanced or with any kind of a thud. I don't want to have to take my left hand off the back of the saddle, in this case, because I was getting on the right side, and have a moment of suspension. I don't want to do that. Now, one of the reasons my horse stands here and waits for me is because of this little ritual I have. Almost every horse that I mount them, and then I say, hey, come on over here. I have a treat for you. And I want them to stand there longer than seems possible or seems like a good idea. And if you have any kind of if you're preparing a horse for any kind of therapeutic riding or any kind of beginner riding, and for yourself, I am not saying that you shouldn't do this for yourself. This is important, that the horse stays there longer than seems necessary, long enough for you to do whatever it is that you need to do with her. I'm just going to back that up one more time, because I really want to talk with you here a little bit more about, for summer, I really needed to prepare her for a rider who had multiple sclerosis. And it took her near 40 minutes to mount this horse. So this horse really had to be prepared for standing there for a much longer time than even seemed necessary. So I do this with every horse that I ride, every horse that I start under saddle. Every one of my horses will stand here this long or longer. They will wait until I ask them to walk off. They won't just assume because I'm on, we should now take off and go somewhere. They wait. Now you notice I can get on and I can get off both sides. I do it all the time. It's a necessary thing. But I got off on this side because I'm going to unsaddle my horse now. And this is where my cinches are. So I do it in the exact opposite order of how I put them on. So back cinch first, then front cinch. And I make sure all of my cinches are neat and orderly, right where they belong. So they're not hanging all over when I go to unsaddle my horse and I carry my saddle back where it belongs. You notice how many times I'm acknowledging her for staying there. And look, she's over here. She's saying, what's going on? I'm like, yep, I'm fixing my cinches, Summer. So when I take them off, they don't drag all over the ground. Every saddle comes with keepers for cinches. Now, right here, I want you to watch how with my right arm, I noticed she was walking away, right? So, hey, you come back here. She thinks we're done and she should walk away. No, you come right back here and you wait for me. Good. Trust that she will. Push up on the front of the saddle and pull across the back of the saddle. I'm going to show you that again. I'm going to back that up and I want to show you that again. Because when we ride, now this is a big, heavy Western saddle. This is a good 45-pound saddle. So if I were riding for very long, that saddle would settle down alongside those withers. And she's got very high withers. I don't want to pull across the wither. I want to pull across the back of the saddle. So I push up with my right arm, loosen it off the wither, and pull across the back of the saddle. You see the back of my saddle, how wide it is? I can just pull right across the back of my horse, and there's nothing that's gripping on her bone structure, nothing that's pulling on her wither. I'm not pulling across her wither. It is actually for that reason that I don't like to mount from the ground. I like to mount from some sort of a mounting block or something, but I wanted to just demonstrate how to do that here. So, and I will demonstrate how to mount from a mounting block, but push up on the front and pull across the back. And even if I had my English saddle on this horse, I would still do it the same way. It's a good practice and it's a good habit to be in. And then see how neat and orderly my whole saddle is? It's just all put away. There's no cinches falling on the ground. There's nothing heavy. It's just done. And I've put it away. And I went to thank my horse. And there you have it. That would be our saddling demonstration at Liberty. So thank you so much, you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope it helps. Love to hear your comments. All right. Bye-bye.